what it means to be a good person in Judaism. The prophet Micah makes it clear on how to be a good person. He says, "He has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God." We might ask, what does this mean? Or what does this look like? We see examples through the scriptures of this, such as the widow who offered Elijah hospitality, food and shelter, Tobit burying the dead, and the prophet Hosea forgiving his wife. Moses makes the idea clear in the book of Deuteronomy, in Hebrew, the Devarim, when he ties the 613 commandments of the Torah to how and why people should live like this. This part of the book of Deuteronomy is referred to as the Parashat Eikev. Moses says, man can live by everything that comes from God. Jews are called to remember being sustained in the desert by bread from heaven. But also it is made clear that man does not live on bread alone, but on all things that come from God. They are his chosen people and must love God and do what he asks because he has done so much for them. The Eikev continues to elaborate on the fact that the Jewish law must be lived actively, not passively. Jews must engage with the law to love God and others. Moses continues, "And keep the commandments, to walk in God's ways and to fear God. For your God is bringing you to a good land, a land in which you will lack for nothing." In fulfilling the commandment to honour the Lord's day and keep it holy, Jews will go to synagogue, keeping it holy, and will not work, as God did not work on the seventh day. Remember to rest as God rested, and of whom we are his image and likeness. In other words, if we are his image and likeness, or like him, and he rested, we too must rest and remember all that he has done. But what about thou shalt not murder? Not murdering is not enough. This is passively following the law, not active. What actions can one perform to not murder? Perhaps help people who are in difficulties. Lift them up rather than keep them down. Encourage others. Be kind and merciful rather than judgmental, passing sentence without understanding and love. The Parashat Eikev ends with a telling metaphor: to place these words upon your heart and upon your soul, and to bind them as a sign upon your hand, and let them be for the frontlets between your eyes. Between the eyes means to keep them at the forefront of every thought. A sign on your hand refers to how a person must act, as we usually act with our hands. We must also let people know how they should act and teach our children these commandments because God loves us and all should know God's love for them. Being a good person, therefore, is to actively participate in one's obligations. God made all people special in his image and likeness and gave us co-creatorship over the world alongside himself. Therefore, actively participating in one's obligations is the same as actively participating in the continuation of creation. For Jews and Christians, creation wasn't only a past event. That was the creation of objects only. We must also acknowledge that creation is a present and future process. Things will continue to grow, change, develop and evolve. We are called to participate in this process through actively loving and choosing God and loving others.